Are you one of the many busy professionals working in offices day in and day out? Do you wonder how some people grow their wealth fast, retire early, and play on workdays? Well, you're in luck, because Ginny Bolling hosts this show, Pivot to Prosperity, where she interviews people that can do just that. Play on workdays. Many guests have become financially free. She also interviews people that are on their journey and people that are in support roles, like attorneys, contractors, brokers, and others. Commercial real estate is the common element. She is on a mission to be sure busy professionals know they can own substantial commercial properties too, like apartments, self-storage facilities, and others, and not have to do the work managing them. Passive investing is the key. Syndications are the typical method. Tax write-offs are some of the biggest rewards. Ginny and partners find the deals, build a strong team and business plan, then offer the investment opportunities to passive investors. New episodes are released every Tuesday at 12, so watch for new releases. If you want to get involved, let us know. You need to get pre-qualified to hear about most deals. See the show notes for contact information.
Hello. Ginny Bolling here with Pivot to Prosperity, and that's sponsored by Pivotal Real Estate Investments, where we help investors build wealth and income through commercial real estate that also improves communities. And today we have Calvin Lowe with us. Calvin, thank you for coming on.
Hi there, Jenny. Thanks for having me here.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to read your bio and then we'll jump right into it. Calvin is a full-time physician in the Division of Emergency and Transport Medicine at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. He is amidst his 31st academic year at CHLA and serves as the medical director of the Alan Perwin Emergency Transport Program. Calvin has lectured nationally and has served as the course director of multiple national medical conferences. He has given many television, radio, and print interviews. He's been quoted in the Los Angeles Times and has appeared on CNN's Larry King Live. That's awesome. The British Broadcasting Company, BBC Radio, and Animal Planet channel. Wow, okay. We'll get back to that. He and his wife, Peggy, became passive real estate investors through Vertical Street Ventures in late 2021. In May 2022, they took the next step to become active investors by enrolling in the VSV Academy. They subsequently founded Peace Equity LLC with the philosophy of family, peace of mind, and generational wealth. The name has special meaning because the first four letters are the acronym of the first names of the family: Peggy, Elizabeth, Austin, and Calvin. Calvin and Peggy became multifamily apartment investing general partners thereafter. Currently, their portfolio consists of over 850 doors with properties in Arizona, California, Texas, and Utah. Calvin has served as the Master of Ceremonies of the VSVCon. Is that what you have? Okay.
Yes.
The Vertical Street Ventures National Conference in 2022 and 23. Calvin and Peggy are also host partners with the Passive Income Club, who have monthly meetups in the Southern California area. The aim of the meetups is to educate those who want to achieve the freedom of time through passive income streams. Very good.
Thank you.
And so as I read that, what do you wish was in there, or you are thinking would be the next best thing to add as your next accomplishment?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just to show people that they don't have to work too hard at their current jobs. In the medical profession, we work really hard. We train for so many years. We get sort of addicted to our jobs and so forth without looking on the other side of wellness and balance. So that's where I'm trying to convey to my fellow healthcare professionals, because I see them at work and they said, "Oh my God, just so many hours I'm working here." I said, "Well, I can help you," right? So just to have the money work for you, get that time, because I have personal experience from this as a young physician. I was being a yes man, just saying yes to everything. I thought I was doing the right thing, so that I'm providing care for my patients as well as providing whatever I need for my family. But I was just losing that time, that freedom and time that I missed with the kids growing up. What hit me poignantly is my wife sometimes tells me that I felt like a single mother during our marriage when you were working so hard. So that really hit me to my heart, really good, because this working so hard really affected our marriage to some degree. But then I've recently just cut back and just noticed that, or found out that passive income through multifamily apartment investing is the way to go, just to have that money work for you so you don't have to work so hard.
Amen to that for sure. And yeah, there are certain jobs out there where we work extra super hard, and it's so easy to not even see the potential until
Right.
someone hits you over the head, was what we
Yeah.
were just talking about. Because my peers the same way. It's like, wake up. They're even working in real estate. It's like you
Right.
can be the owner.
Right.
But yeah, yeah. Even if you're not the owner per se, you can be the limited partner. You know,
Sure.
you can be you're still an owner,
Right.
but right, yeah. So, and for your industry, working in the pediatric area, you have those heartstrings that are, you probably feel like you can't leave a lot of kids, right?
Yeah, it's really tough because, especially when my children were very young, I would see patients that, oh my gosh, that could have been my daughter, auto accident, kids coming in, near death, sepsis, or some type of congenital heart disease where we're doing a lot of things, a lot of modalities where they require special medication drips and so forth. And it gets really emotional. Sometimes I would have to come out and say, oh my goodness, or I would come home and just lay next to my daughter and son in bed and my God, thank God they're healthy. But I do what I do because I love what I do, to take care of these kids, to give them, the optimal chance for survival, their treatments, give the parents a ray of hope for them. Because some of these kids come in really critically ill, and we just do all we can to ensure their the best chances of survival.
Right. But you get burnout after so many decades of doing that too, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the great. It's not so much the work I do, the clinical work. I love doing that. I love relating with people. I love to talk relationships. For me, I live in Southern California and I live 30 miles from the hospital. It's so much the grind driving back and forth. I don't know if you've ever been through Southern California
Especially,
traffic, right? So like the morning shifts, I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get there at 6. Then I leave at 2 or 3 o'clock. It's a guarantee hour and a half to drive home. And I get home, I eat dinner, and I'm on the couch. Then it's time for the next shift the next day. So it's just that repeated grind. Or when I was doing overnights, my shifts, my hours were just fumbling all over the place. I would go overnight, then have a quote day off just to recover, then work the next day. And that just repeats itself. So it's just that, I guess it's sort of that emotional and mental trauma, and it's physical too, because I've been at times where I've told my wife, I said, boy, that shift really hurt, not just mentally, but physically too, because I'm just really tired. And it's just that grind and going back and forth and not recovering fully. I've like I said, scaled back quite a bit in my clinical work now, where I have more time now. I'm an avid Orange Theory person. I work out every day just to keep up that health. I know we were talking about pickleball. My wife and I are starting that up on weekends. So you got to do things outside to, it's all about emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and things like that to keep that balance.
it sure is. I mean, I spend so many hours at the computer. I found out there's something called computer arm.
I can help you. Take a couple of Motrin, it'll be fine.
So I'm dealing with that. I can still play pickleball, but I can't play tennis right now.
Oh, wow.
So, and my tagline I was sharing with you on the show is work less, make more, and then more and more. So I'm saying play more because I want people
Absolutely.
to play. But yeah, people don't think about they get so over dedicated to the job or the ladder, trying to climb the ladder and thinking it's all about money. But if it's money, then passive investing can make that trip a whole lot faster,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Just let the money work for you. Because
Yeah.
what's your definition of wealth? Is it money? No, I think it's the time you spend with your loved ones, things that you want to do, things that you're passionate about. I'm an avid Dallas Cowboy fan. I would go every weekend to see the Cowboys play if I could. That'd be my passion right there. But yeah, it's just like, people say, I need to work, I need to work, I need to provide. But you can do that through passive income. You can do that by investing and just work as you need to, because that balance and wellness, that's a big thing in my profession now. We actually have a division or a person in our division who's the wellness leader. So we talk about these things and never had like when I first started 30 years ago. It's a big thing now and it's very important.
Yeah, I've worked with some of the large corporations where they have that wellness person. It's really good, but they still don't tell you about alternative investments.
Right.
So
Right.
that you need a buddy like you and I. I mean, it's somebody that knocks you over the head and says, you can do this instead of just that grind, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Go ahead. Yeah.
what's your normal conversation go like with another doctor, nurse,
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
When
That was one of my, I was alluding to because my original avatar, and it still is the female attending physician. So what do? They have to balance their life as a mother, as a wife, and as a physician. So, okay, I'll put it out there. My wife will love this because women are the stronger gender because they can do all these things, right, and balance all this time together. I've had some of my colleagues say, Calvin, can you work for me this shift? Because I can't do it. I said, well, are you okay? Everything's what's going on? Well, husband's on a business trip. I need childcare. I'm missing out on these things. So yeah, I can help you, but I can also help you on something else. We just talk about, about real estate investing, tax benefits, and they get it. And they'll say, well, I don't know if we're right. Well, let's just sit down and talk about it. I can go over what we have. You know, I didn't make a decision right now. This is what my experience is because it's all about trust and relationships, right? In this industry, because they say, well, Calvin wouldn't do something crazy, would he? They might think I'm crazy to begin with, but no, they said I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm out in social media and just showing what I do, what can happen. So I've talked to several nurses. They think I'm really interested in this. So just a ongoing conversation to talk about how they can balance again their lives outside the hospital and do the work that they need to do. But again, just to know that there's something there that the money can work for them.
so in my world, it's easy to talk about investing in commercial real estate since most of my peers are already in it.
Right.
For you, do you show them a picture of something or how do you get that vision going for them?
Yeah, we'll sit down on a Zoom call and I said, here's our web deck. I'll give you an example of a latest deal. This is what it is. I'll just say,
Right.
okay, you might have a rental, a single family home, to talk about the differences. I grew up in the single family home realm. My mom, she has like a single family home portfolio, like 12 doors. But it's a thing. You have to get a mortgage for each one. You need to deal with that. I have three brothers. I was the only one that had to do the turnovers when I was younger. I learned how to do the tiles, paint. I hate it. So what's going on, right? But and I know now where my mom said this is passing me. These things are obviously paid off multiple times. She bought a fourplex in Huntington Beach when I was 6 months old. I just turned 60. She still has it. Isn't that crazy? And it's just like going on. And my kids, my grandkids are like, wow, mom, grandma's a beast, right? But the thing is, just trying to scale up, and I know it stresses her out. I can see her every time. She's 92 now. She just completed a 1031 exchange. I'm like, oh my gosh, just 2 miles from my house, right? But I can still see the stress. I don't know that they're going to pay. I said, Mom, you're fine. Don't worry. But that's what drives her. But just, showing my colleagues that, you can own this versus multifamily where it scales up. The risk is a little bit lower because, occupancy, things like that. And then also the tax incentives as well. So, just the
Right.
money to speak to them, they just put it on a level they can understand because I said I was in your seat like 3, 4 years ago. All these things were going over my head, but as time goes along, it's getting more simple. I can understand. I can, speak to you about it, and you can put it in terms that they can understand.
Well, so I just had an idea on if I were you, how would I make it so that the conversation came up even more? I think I would put a model apartment building on my desk.
Oh, there you go.
I am building one right now to help me in the trade shows so that
Oh,
people,
nice.
the other industry type
Yeah, yeah,
picture you on this.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I like
But
that.
yeah. Yeah, because I imagine some of your colleagues really have a hard time picturing, what's
Yeah,
it look like or
it
self-storage,
right. It's hard. So I remember when I first started this, you mentioned I was the MC of the national conferences. They said you need to advertise. I said okay. So I threw out a group mail, and one of my colleagues came up to me and said, "What's this multi marketing thing you're doing?" I'm like, "No, no, no." Right? Yeah, it's a sponsor came that should have went to your spam mail, but it's sort of like discouraged me a little bit. I said they just need. It's all about education, basically. Just like we have CMEs, we have continuous medical education. So we have to do, just talk about it and just keep giving the exposure. I just, give them emails and talk about it. Like they're all, my friends on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook. So they know I'm out there. So when they're ready and I have the deals, I pitch it to them. They say, okay, let's talk about it some more. So we just continue to expose them to it. And I don't want to be like a salesperson because I'm not, but just to show that, wow, he's going to cut back in July. Okay. He can afford that to do that. Yeah, I can reach into my retirement funds now, but no, because between my wife and I, I'm the more high maintenance one. So I want to do things. So they know that he's a big Dallas Cowboy fan. He want to go to Dallas and watch the Cowboys play every weekend. I said, yeah, I'll do that. And say, this is how this will pay off for you, especially like I said, the young female attending has small, younger children. This is the best time you get that set ready to go because once they go to school, you can see that relationship's going to change so much, but you can be there for them when you need to be.
Yeah, so true, so true. So to also then tell about what you got into, or maybe your first one, or take it somewhere more personal to what you have in your portfolio, or the steps.
Yeah. The first time that we did it was one of my friends. His name is Steve Lowe from Vertical Street Ventures, and I knew he was doing something. And he came to me. He said, "Let's go out to lunch." Our families grew up together in our same church. My kids still call him Uncle Steve. And he came over. We went for dinner, and he was talking. I could see the wheels spinning on his head how he's trying to pitch this to me. I said, "Yeah, I recently got incorporated for my medical practice. I know I got something for you." And so we talked about this. I said, okay, yeah, it sounds really good, but you're going to have to convince my wife because I'm an ER doc. I make decisions just like this, right? Just too fast. My wife, she reins me in. She has to process this, right? She really puts me in and sometimes goes, no, let's think about it. I'm like, no, we just got to do it. So Steve came over, explained it to us over dinner, and my wife goes, that's a good idea. I was totally shocked, right? Okay, let's do this. And then after that, I was thinking, okay, we're not going to get $50,000 or $100,000. And he says, you're sitting in it. I'm like, what? Then the light bulb went off. It's, oh, the equity. So that was the big thing for me because growing up, my mom being the real estate pioneer she is, she says, you got to pay off all your house. You got to pay off this and this. I'm like, now I say, no, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Right.
Just, we did our loan, refinanced our loan, and used that to invest. And that was just the beginning there. So right now, we're in like 12 to 15 properties as limited partners. And those are including the ones who are GPs as well. So obviously, we're in for the long run. But it's just that trusted relationship with somebody that you build up because I would never have done this, right? Unless you know somebody. And I hope I come across my colleagues. Like, yeah, I've known Calvin for 30 years working in the hospital. He's doing this. So that's where I hope where this leads to.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that the more you tell people that that's what's going to help you wean yourself away,
Yeah.
that's going to really make a difference. What so you're is an LP in most of these, but you're in a GP in some now too. Do you want to talk about that difference in what your role is?
Oh yeah, right. So as part of the academy, which was great through Vertical Street Ventures, is that they allowed us to be student GPs on a couple of deals. So we actually run the properties and so forth. That's our first one was in.
And GP stands for General Partner.
General partners, right? So
yeah.
right. So as a limited partner, you're a passive investor, so you let the money work for you. But people have to. Who are the people who make that money work? It's the general partners. So we have a 39-unit apartment complex in Northern Phoenix, and that's where we're the general partners in that. So the general partners can consist of an asset manager, operations person. I'm a capital raiser syndicator. Also can be an underwriter and so forth. So that's the active team that runs the business, so to speak. And we rely on the property managers who run the place. So I don't have to go in and fix every tile and so forth. Let somebody else do that. So sort of a hands-off, but yes, we're still a hands-on, but still we still dictate what goes on during our weekly property management meetings.
And that's the beauty of it is when you're buying these bigger properties, you get the economies of scale. You're not buying one or two refrigerator or whatever kitchen at a time. You've got discounts for all that, and you're hiring the pros to go put it in.
Yeah.
You're not the guy down the street.
Right, right. No, that's great because they can do it quickly. They can turn over an apartment that's been moved out, paint it, new appliances, whatever needs refurbish the counters. It can take up to a week at most, so they can get it ready to keep the occupancy rates higher.
Right, right. And as far as learning the software and all of the ins and outs, they're giving you a behind the curtain view of all of that as a student GP.
Oh yeah, we get all the financials. We analyze it. My wife is a homemaker, but her former job was a graphic designer. So we do all the newsletters from investors. That includes all the graphics as well as the financials, occupancies, and pictures and things. So give the investors, we want to show them where their money's going because when
Right.
they're investing, it's not cheap, right? You're giving, a good chunk of money, and I think transparency is the key. We want to make sure they know what their money is doing, good or bad, because the market has been on the downside recently. And we say, okay, that's the way it is, but we're in it for the long run. So just, just stick with us and we're going to make this work.
Yeah, a couple of the other big things that I hit on, even though it's called an alternative investment, Mother Earth has been the biggest asset of all time. Of all time. Kings
Right.
and queens used to fight over it. Cavemen fought for land. It's an old asset.
Right. It's been there always, right? It's
Right.
historical, right? It just always there.
Plus, another thing that a lot of people I feel don't really realize, they think, okay, well, kind of like a REIT or this or that. But with these syndications, they get to meet the team. They can go to the property, not like a REIT.
Absolutely.
You can
Right.
know all that. You've
Yeah.
got to read and know that business plan and sign off that you like it, obviously.
Yeah, I have some of my colleagues. They say, "Hey, I'm going to Salt Lake. I'm going to drop by the property I invested in." Yeah, go ahead. You're part of it, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. I think that's wonderful. They can just go and they know the address. I give them everything. We have a portfolio of two different properties and they're like a mile away from each other. Go visit both. So
Yeah, it's a world of difference, I think.
yeah,
Um, and I think the returns are an eye opener for a lot of people. It's like not only do you need less to put into it, 50,000 typically, right?
right.
So a lot more than that to go buy a rental property down the street.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
And
then you
again,
got to
you're
sign
saying
on the mortgage and do everything.
yeah. And then scaling up quickly too. And that's a lot of my colleagues they're playing Wall Street too. That's the other issue, right? And sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, Calvin, I see what you're doing, but I'm waiting for my stocks to return. I'm like, when is that going to happen? Lock something in now. You're going to be ahead of the game. By the time your stock return comes back out, whether Apple or whatever it is, and then by the time that happens, you've already made some returns distributions by then. You're already be ahead of the game. So it's the mindset change, really.
Yeah, it
That's
sure
what I
is.
think
Yeah, yeah. Well, so anything else you want to share, or should we go into that big question I ask everybody towards the end here?
Oh, then go ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, okay. It's because, of course, the company's name is Pivotal Real Estate Investments. I ask every guest, is there a pivotal person or event in your life that either got you to where you are now with real estate or that's pushing you to some particular goal?
Yeah, I mentioned Steve Louie. It's a big part of my life, and that he's been a good friend. I knew that he was in corporate America in commercial insurance. We are one of our things we did every year. We used to go to the LA Auto Show. We just go there and check out the cars with another buddy of ours for 20 years in a row. And he'd be on the phone. When pages were, they had like two or three of them. Like, what's wrong with the guy, right? He just like very type A. I can say that he'll know that he is. And I'm like, wow, he's just really, really busy. He seemed like he was more intense than I was with my profession. But then when he turned into, multifamily, things were much better. I can see a difference. And so I said, wow, okay, it's something that, again, trust relations. I trust Steve to do these investments. And I saw through his academy how it changed my life. I said, oh, I can see this now with the tax incentives. Working with my wife on this with Peace Equity and my children, they think, wow, this is something dad is really doing. My son's a CPA and he invested in my first GP thing. So it validated me and saying, wow, he's an accountant. He looked at it, this has value, right? So yeah, I would say Steve Louie from Vertical Street Ventures, great guy.
All right. You're nominating him as a pivotal person. All
Absolutely.
right. All right. We'll talk afterwards on who's going to call and tell him. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so the big thing and the big takeaway for both of our audiences really is that, like you say, that you can get involved in these and stay busy with your career and the rest of your life. And for less money than it costs to even put in a pool,
Right. Yeah.
you can get into these deals and not have to do anything, and you get the tax benefits.
When you're sleeping, we're on call, you're sleeping at night, doctors, money's
Yeah.
working for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Almost too good to be true the way it
I
sounds.
would have thought, right? Yeah, it's because again, like we're highly trained, we studied long hours, we're still learning, but let something be good and that you don't have to do, you don't have to think about, and that'll work for you.
Right, right. Well, good. Well, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add? Last chance.
No, I'm just like, you can reach me. It's my
Yeah.
work.
Tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes to my calendar. You just want to talk. We got a couple open deals right now, and be more than happy to talk to anybody. Thank you for having me.
Since this will be on Spotify and iTunes and things where people won't see that, go ahead and say how to reach you.
Yeah, the best part is through my website is www.peaceequity.com, and Peace Equity is spelled PEACEQUITY. So that's a
One
plan.
E.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one. Yeah, it's a plan on our name. So, yeah, that's probably the best way to contact us.
And your phone number?
714-747-1443.
Great. All right. Well, thank you. And we'll put all that in the show notes, of course, too.
Great. Thanks so much, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.